Vayonitai Gaura Radeshyam Japo Hare Krishna Hare Ram Jay Sri Radheshyam, and welcome. Today we will study my possible favorite shlokas from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the book of the book. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the chant, the poetry, the song of Bhagavan. There is so interesting information on Bhagavad Gita that everyone can go and Google it, about historical facts, about what is happening, about different things that I will not cover here because we will go directly to the shlokas. Namaste Gurudevaya Sarvasiddhi Pradayane Sarvamagala Rupaya Sarvananda Vidyajine. This is the chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. First verse of all in Bhagavad Gita is the Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. After assembling at the sacred ground of Kurukshetra and deciding to fight, what did my sons and Pandu's sons do, Sanjaya? The question. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is explaining everything about the Kurukshetra and what is happening in that moment. Who is present, who are them, why the fight is going on, etc. So the most interesting area of Bhagavad Gita starts from the chapter number 2. And from the shlokas, from the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the chapter 2 is possible the most interesting, because in the chapter 2 we have a resume of the full Bhagavad Gita. Basically on the chapter 2 we can study and understand the full story of Bhagavad Gita. This is super interesting chapter that I recommend to all of you to study properly and to try to extract the esoteric meaning inside. 1.28 of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna Uvacha. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, my limbs are trembling and my mouth is drying up at the sight of my very own friends and relatives here on the battlefield, ready to kill each other." Sri Arjuna ji is seeing on the battlefield of Kurukshetra in this moment their own family ready to kill him, to kill their own family and everyone present there, just out of lust for wealth, land, power, supremacy, etc. Sadly, this nature is not just a nature that we can see and we can experiment on Kali Yuga, but previously, at the end of Kali Yuga, this was very strong power. And as far as I have been reading and studying the Shastras and the stories of the previous Yugas, I see that this kind of fights between kingdoms are going on since Satya Yuga. Kings and demons trying to take over the land, places, take over Bharat, etc. This has been all over the place. Looks like this is the very nature of humankind. This is the very nature of this material world. So quarrel and hypocrisy is not only a characteristic of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, maybe it will be much more stronger and it will be deeper and darker, but this nature is all over the place. Interesting fact also about Kali Yuga and the Yugas, since we are speaking about the Yugas, is that Every yuga is divided in 4, and each yuga, Satya Yuga, Papara, Tetra, and Kali Yuga, are present in each of the yugas. Each yuga with their own nature, as yuga, has the micro yugas inside, 4 divisions of yugas. So basically, we have 4 main yugas, right? And inside of each yuga are 4 yugas. Then we have 16 yugas actually going in one full round. Interesting that our prescribed number, as per Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu request, that is the 1,64,000 rounds. If you divide in 4, we have 16 as the 16 yugas, and these 4 times we have the 4 yugas. It's a full cycle. Looks like this is the truly cycle of nature. So this is how our sacred number 108, the esoteric sadhanas that we do, all are connected with the law of nature. As just an example, the music sounds are connected with the law of nature. Everything is connected with the law of nature. Our sadhanas are connected with law of nature. So here Arjuna is very sad and paralyzed by seeing how their own family is ready to fight against him and to kill him, just for power, for more power. They are kings, they have kingdoms, they have everything, even though they still want more and more and more and more against their own family. Do you understand what I mean? So what we expect, we're speaking about Arjuna, a noble soul, Kshatriya, who has not any dot of dearth in his history of life, is with Krishna in that moment. They are present, manifested on earth, even though the materialistic mind is there and they are blind on seeing Krishna and Arjuna. They cannot realize who is Krishna and Arjuna. So what we expect about our own life here on this reality? What we expect about this? Well, to expect not much nothing. We must go all the way through the battlefield and try to keep strong with the hands up on this spiritual fight. Actually, this is the philosophy that originally the Kshatriyas has. Also, if you go to the descendants of the Kshatriyas, who are the Vikings, they have the same philosophy, that the war of life is sacred, and you must win. So Arjuna is here, seeing that the friends and family is ready to fight and to kill each other, and he is very sad and he don't want to fight. This is the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. Another interesting shloka here in chapter 1 is the shloka 41. Sankaro naraka jaiva kulagnanam kulasyasha patanti pitaro hi yesham lupta pindo dakka krijaha. The unwanted population makes existence a living hell for one and all. Even the ancestors are doomed, being deprived of sacrificial offering of food and water. This verse explains basically what we are seeing nowadays in the world. Overpopulation, population who are not devotees, population who is not educated, and all this create chaos and problem. Basically because nature, as I was speaking previously on the previous verse, nature and wealth and well-being is all working together. You cannot separate the nature from the human well-being and the abundance of nature. Everything goes together. So when the population is not walking the path of Dharma, then all kind of scarcities are coming. Poverty, illness, etc., pandemics. Everything is coming because the karmatic reaction of the society, and sooner or later the society will have to pay for that. So an unwanted population, reads this verse, makes existence a living hell for one and all. Krishna here is very, very hot in, Vrindavan. It's very, very hot. Let's keep going, continue the next verses that I have been marking here on my Gita. And now we jump to the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, as I said in the beginning. May the most interesting and profound of all the chapters, as a sum of all the verses, are explaining the most confidential knowledge. The verse 2 reads, "From where have this weakness come, O Arjuna, that too at this hour of danger it does not befit an Aryan like you, who has lived a life of values? This will bring you neither good reputation nor heaven." So this is the moment that when we are facing the reality, when we face our attachments, when we have to do some steps forward our spiritual development, but it's simply not happening. Why? Because we don't want to let it go. This is the main problem. We have attachments, we have some deals, some people have different passion or addictions, and they don't want to just let it go. Then what did happen? That all the weakness is coming on top of you. You cannot progress in the spiritual life if you are not strong enough. And strong means that I must know when it's time to move on. This will not bring you neither good reputation nor heaven, Krishna said. (2:12) Na tuevaham jatu na sam na tvam neme janadipaha na chaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vajam ataha param. There has never been a time when I or you or all these kings were not in existence, and surely we should all exist in future too. Krishna is revealing here that no one has a time to start in existing. So no soul had been born ever. This is for many is the most difficult concept to understand, because the material mind is always trying to put the things together based on our experience. As our experience and the mind is material, even the mind cannot be touched or smell or burn, it still is material. Very subtle substance, but it's material. Then because material has limitation on deepness, and everything the mind is processing through the experience that it's having. Our mind, our psyche is understanding the reality out of the experience that we have. So when we apply our mind, our psyches, our previous experience to the spiritual realm, we fail. Why? Because material mind and material measure cannot explain the spiritual realm. Spirituality is the spiritual platform or reality is transcendental, while the mind is not transcendental, it's material. Then it will die. It started and have a final point. But here Krishna says that we are never born and we will never die. Natu evaham jatu nasam. Not you, and not you, not me. We have a time where we didn't exist. 13 reads, childhood, youth, and old age are simple phrases in the journey of an embodied soul. The next phase is another body. There is nothing abnormal in this. All the process of life in the human body are part of the nature of the body, and it start and have an end. And the next, what is coming after death? Another body. This is what is happening. Simple and crystal clear. 15. If one is wise enough to tolerate dualities, to whom joy and sorrow are one and the same, he becomes qualified for eternal life, O Arjuna, best of men. 16. That which is temporary is not the ultimate reality, because the ultimate reality is unchangeable and indestructible. This is the conclusion derived by the wise who have pondered on the subject at length. 20. There is no birth or death for the soul, period. Nor does it ever cease to be. It is birthless, ageless, eternal, without a beginning or an end. Even with destruction of the body, the soul is not destroyed. So when the body is destroyed, the soul is not destroyed. Simple. There are two different things that are connected just in this period of time, in this time, but it's not connected truly. We have been walking on millions of bodies, actually, but we don't remember any of them. We just remember this one, actual body, our actual body. We don't remember anything else. We have been walking on different bodies. So they are so untranscendental, so superficial, that we just simply forget about them. Because our nature is transcendental. In our capacity of understanding the reality, these small grains are nothing for us. You have no birth. You don't turn old. You are eternal, without beginning or an end, anadi, without beginning. You have no death at no time. In the beautiful there is one verse that it reminds me so much about this previous from Bhagavad Gita. It reads, I never had a body. I was never in a body, and I will never be a body. Dattatreya Gita, Dattatreya Gita, Avaduta Gita. That verse is exactly what we must to realize. Another verse from Avaduta Gita reads, there is nothing to achieve, because everything to achieve is I am already that. Of course, that is a philosophy more into the Parabrahman, but then somehow we are on that nature. What is our success of a spiritual life? Let's open our mind a little bit. Shravanam, to hear, Kirtanam, to chant the glories, to repeat the glories, Kirtanam. And what is the third point that all the siddhas do? Smaranam. And what is Smaranam? How it translates Smaranam? Imagination? No. Smaranam translates as to remember. Smara, to remember. So when we remember our true nature, we get in our true position. 22. Just as we discard all worn-out clothes, the soul casts off worn-out bodies to enter a new body at the time of death. A body is for the soul what clothes are for us. Simple. 23. The soul cannot be wounded by any weapon. It cannot be burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor can it be blown away by the wind. So, this chapter is so beautiful. It shows our true nature, who we really are. This is pure nectar. Just to hear from an intellectual point of view is wonderful. Can you imagine what does it mean when you truly realize yourself? Our very respect Bijoy Krishnadas Goswami, he said that the first step for us is exactly this, chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Gyan, to understand the supreme truth. You start your spiritual development, your true development by Brahma Gyan, that is to understand your inner truth, your real, truly spiritual nature. When you understand chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, then you truly get into Brahma Gyan. And from Brahma Gyan, you can understand Bhagavan. Otherwise, how you can understand Bhagavan if you don't understand yourself? How you can love if you cannot love yourself? How you can show the best of you if you don't know who you are? Right? In the game of love, there are two persons, right? And in the game of love, there are two persons, and you are in love on the qualities of the other person. To say beauty, dance, speaking, what do, how speak, etc. In the qualities of that. And the other person is in love with the qualities of the other part, right? But in order to realize those qualities, you must realize this truly, truly real love, how it is. You have to start by yourself. That's why many people say that we find couple that is a projection of ourselves in somehow. Even the face of couples, if you measure the faces, normally they match quite well. Yes, everything is a projection. You must understand yourself to truly comprehend who you are in deepness. And when you comprehend that you are a spiritual soul, that you are an eternal soul, Brahman, you get Brahma Gyan. When this happens, you can see yourself projected everywhere. Everywhere. When the birds are singing, you can see the life there, and you realize that life is exactly the same life I have here. And all the life who is around me, mobile or unmobile, is all projection of the supreme light and life. This is Bhagavan. But before understanding properly Bhagavan, not from a religious point of view, that God is over there in a cloud looking down what I am doing because he has nothing better to do. No, but when you truly realize what Bhagavan is, you must start by realizing who you are. First you understand who you are. You as a soul, and everything is here in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga. Because those, 2:27, because those born will certainly die one day, and those who die will certainly be born again. Why then grieve over it? This is the reality. Reincarnation is eternal. Karma is eternal. The samsara is eternal. The soul also is eternal. The difference is the quality of energy that are those things compose. Soul is eternal energy, primary energy. Samsara, karma, dharma, all these kind of things are different energies who are there. Sorry, dharma. Samsara and karma, these things are energies who are there, created by other energies. Everything starts at the beginning. We can study this in Srimad Bhagavad and explain how the universe is created with all these subtle energies, etc. But this material world is temporary since it is changing always. It's eternal as energy because it's God's energy anyways, but it's temporary because it's always changing. The soul doesn't. The soul doesn't. It's eternal in itself. It's pure consciousness. So we will die one day, yes. And we do our practice and our sadhana, spiritual practice, spiritual sadhana, yes, we do that. But nobody can give us a guarantee that in our next life we will continue the sadhana, the practice. We will have the chance, we will have the Shakti for doing it, we will have maybe Rushi, maybe we will have Sukriti, but nobody gives you any proof, any guarantee that you will have the desire of making it. Just not long ago, I watched a video of a Tibetan Buddhist Rinpoche, a Lama, very powerful guru, who left the body and his next reincarnation was in Spain. Basically, and to make it short, when he reincarnated, now is a man about 40 or some years old. He has no desire to go to Tibet anymore. As a kid, he went to Tibet to study, but after that, he has no desire. When he turned a teenager, he said, I don't want this anymore. And at this time, more than 40 years old man, who in the previous life was a very important guru, Rinpoche, is saying, I don't want to know anything about that. I want just to live my materialistic, crazy life, and that's it. I don't want to go to meditation and nothing. So he has the knowledge, has the power, has the seed, but he doesn't have the desire. Who said to us that we will have the desire in next life? So that's why we must do it now. And somehow, Master Jesus was very clear. We have no next life. This is the only life. Now I have some consciousness. Now I have Bhagavad Gita. Now I have Bhagavatam. Now I have my Japa Mala. Now I am in consciousness of the reality of Krishna. Now is my time. I don't know about tomorrow. 30. Do not grieve for any living being, because the soul dwelling within the body is immortal. And chapter 2 continues, and every shloka is wonderful, but I will read the next one here. 2.53. Not excited by the floral words of the Vedas, the intelligence is fixed in a spiritual trance, what is called the perfection of yoga. Hear properly this, not excited by the floral words of the Vedas. Vedas is knowledge. No interested in too much philosophical things, topics, and here and there and that. The mind, the intelligence, not the mind, intelligence is fixed in a spiritual trance. This is the next level. In the beginning, the study of the Shastras is important to understand the philosophy, but after that, if the sadhaka is not jumping into the trance, to the samadhi, the trance in this way means your sadhana. For Bhakti Yogis, our trance, our samadhi is our sadhana, deep bhajan. If we're not jumping after 10, 20 years to bhajan, then it is just not working. It is just not working. We cannot continue just studying books and translating stuff our life. Where is bhakti? In any university, the doctors and professors are translating books. It doesn't make them bhakti yogis, no perfection in yoga. Nobody gets perfection in yoga in that way. Krishna said they are worshipping me with intelligence. But what about your heart? Still not there? 55. Sri Bhagavan said, when one is in divine consciousness, one gives up all desires arising from the mind and finds satisfaction in the self alone. Atmarama. 57. One of a steady wisdom who is unperturbed by material desires and unaffected by joys and sorrow. Steady wisdom. 58. Like a tortoise pulls his limbs into his shell, one keeps his sense under one's control. 61. The only way to maintain a steady wisdom is to control your senses and absorb your mind in me. 63. Anger compounds delusion. Delusion leads to loss of memory, which in turn destroys the power of discrimination. Loss of discrimination means loss of self and falling to material consciousness again. Loss of discrimination means loss of self and failing to material consciousness again. If you don't know what is good and what is bad, if you don't know what is wrong, then you will lost self, and we will fail to material consciousness again. That's simple. That's why the most important part of our sadhana, all the bhakti yogis, is Sangha. Sadhu Sangha is the key for our spiritual development, is the key for our perfection. But Sadhu Sangha, what does Sadhu Sangha means? Just to reunite, to go to hang out with other dudes who chant Hare Krishna? Is that Sadhu Sangha? Is that all? Is that easy? No, it's not. Sadhu Sangha is nothing about that. Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu, the one who walk the sadhana and practice sadachar. So the ones who do sadhana and sadachar are in the path of sadhu. But in this way, sadhu also means those ones who are above you in the spiritual development, in the spiritual path, in their bhakti, in their knowledge, in their consciousness, and then they can teach you, they can help you to grow up. If you don't do satsanga with souls who are more realized than you, who are bigger than you, then you will not get nowhere. Nowadays, the bad habit of sadhu sangha is to think you do sadhu sangha by meeting friends who are in the same sect or philosophy. But this is not sadhu sangha. This is asat sangha. This is asat sangha. Sadhu sangha is to meet only with those who are more developed than you and from where you can get inspiration to keep growing. Not the ones who will tell you that everything is okay, my friend, blah, 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 blah. Show. No. Are the ones who from you will learn more and more and go deeper and deeper and deeper in your bhajan, in your sadhan. This is satsanga. Otherwise, it's just friends, are only friends as satsanga. 66. Only a disciplined person can control his senses and mind, have a clear intelligence, and contemplate on God. Without contemplation on God, there cannot be peace, and without peace, there cannot be happiness. Contemplation of God, how important is this? Contemplate God. How you contemplate God? Tell me, how you contemplate God? Do you contemplate God? You understand what the word contemplate means? To meditate, to observe. You do that? In order to do contemplation, meditation, you must start doing sadhana. Sadhana is the only way, because sadhana goes on your spiritual level, it's not intellectual level, it's not just like reading books. Bhajan is the word that is missing for so many sadhakas in the world, but then their own bhakti and practice go missing because there is no bhajan. When there is bhajan, start the sweetness. When the sweetness starts, there you are experimenting, contemplating Bhagavan, Krishna. 69. What is darkness for ignorant beings is daylight, a time of awakening for those with self-control. What is daylight for the ignorant is the dark of night for the sages who see. Here, one more time, we see how is opposite. Sadhu life is opposite to the materialistic life. We cannot try to please the people in order to understand or in order to practice spiritual bhakti yoga. We cannot please people. People must to please Bhagavan and the Shastras with their actions. Not that we will change the things to please people. People, the world population is based on ignorance. So we cannot adapt anything for the ignorance. The ignorance must to adapt and clean it up, light it up for the wisdom, spiritual fire. 71. Peace comes to one who gives up all desire for self-enjoyment, gives up his ego, gives up greed as well as a sense of ownership. 72. In this enlightened state of consciousness, one never gets confused again, O Partha. If one attains this consciousness at the time of death, one gets liberated from the cycle of birth and death, and all suffering ends by entering the spiritual abode of God. Chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga Ki Jai. One of the most interesting chapters on Bhagavad Gita, definitely. And we jump to chapter 3, and I will read my favorite verses here. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Shloka 11. Devan bhava jatanena te devava vajantu baha parasparam bhavajantah shreya param avapshyatha. Sacrifices please the devatas, who then satisfy those who have performed the sacrifice. This reciprocation between gods and mankind benefits all. Nowadays, in this ignorant worldwide culture, nobody believes in God, much less they believe in devatas, luminaries. So wrongly translate as demigods. But nobody believes on that. But you know who really believes on that? The most powerful people on earth, they believe in that. They worship Saturn. They worship different devatas for their wealth, for their power. If you see the symbols of the countries in the shield of the symbol country, the flags, many times there you can see how the most powerful elite on the world is still worshiping devatas. But the people of the world, in their ignorance, think devatas does not exist. They exist and very powerful. All devatas are expansion of Krishna. That we must understand. All devatas are expansion of Krishna. They are not separate of Bhagavan. One question reads Jay Radhe, can someone only chant Hare Krishna mantra daily and remember Krishna so that at the time of death he will go back to Krishna Lok? Nitai Gaura. Excellent question. Actually, this is our Dharma. This is the Yuga Dharma. It's the chant of the Harinam. By chant of the Harinam, Gauranga and the Shastras, if you study properly the Shastras, is not explaining clearly that we must to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is the mantra Gauranga give, okay? But the instruction for the world population, attention, for the world population, is to chant the names of Hari. And the names of Hari will resound deeply in the heart of every single soul with the different tastes that the soul has for God. Someone can chant Vishnu, 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 or create a song, Mahavishnu, Paravishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu, Hari. I'm creating in my mind now a song with name of Vishnu, Hari. This is Harinam. Other devotees can chant, for example, Ram, Om Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, all the life, and this is Yuga Dharma, based on Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Other devotees are chanting, Namaste Narasimhaya, right? This is Harinam, because Narasimha is Hari, and this is his name. Narasimha is the name of Hari. This is Harinam. So if you fortunate enough to be attached to Mahamantra, or you understand that Mahamantra is the most powerful of all mantras, then you can repeat the Mahamantra. Do japa, repetition means japa, japping the Mahamantra all life. And this is perfection enough. There is no mantra superior to Mahamantra. Why? Because Mahamantra is a mantra composed on the names of Krishna, and Krishna only. Hare, Krishna, Ram are names of Krishna. And also there are bija. Ram is a bija, Hare, Hara, Har, bija, Kri, bija, Na, Krija. Krishna is a name composed of two bijas, Krishna. See? So there is the most superior, the superior of all the mantras. In Gopal Sahasranam, verse 139, it reads, the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, is the crown of all mantras, of all Mahamantras. The most powerful is Mahamantra, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So yes, chant your Mahamantra, but chant, what does it mean? Chant means japping. This is the instruction of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, japping Mahamantra Hare Krishna. Japping Mahamantra. If you want to chant out loud, do Harinam. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, Jadavaya Namaha, Jadavaya Madhavaya, Keshavaya Namaha, Gopala Govinda Ram, Shri Madhusudana. You can chant Hari 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 Hari, Hara Hara Hara, Hari Hara Hari Hara, Krishna Krishna, Gopal Gopal, Jai Gopal, Jai Govinda, Jai Gopal, Jai Govinda, Radharamana Hari, Govinda Jai Jai. All these songs you can chant are open. Harinam has not regulations in Kali Yuga, so everybody can chant the Harinam. If you want to chant mantra, mantra has regulation, so mantras need repetition in japa. This is the instruction of Sri Gauranga. I hope I am clear, and I wish you all the best and success in your japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram. Do with all your heart, with all your love, and you will see the results. Nothing can be in the middle of you and Krishna if you do with heart. Sri Radhe. Sacrifice please the devatas, who then satisfy those who have performed the sacrifice. Number 11, Krishna is explaining how the material world works. If you want to be in abundance, you must to pay your respect to the ones who are giving the abundance. They are the devatas. They are the devatas. If you want money, you go to the bank. You don't go directly. You need to go to the bank. This is how it works. There is a president in your country supposed to be working for the security and welfare of everyone. Yes, there is a president. You cannot go by yourself. You cannot do the things by yourself. And because this is not the position, is not your dharma here. Your dharma is to do the things as Bhagavan is saying. Bhagavan is saying in the Bhagavad Gita. Who can deny this? Now, it doesn't mean that we must to turn our Ishtadeva another devata. I will not start worshipping Shani Dev 24/7. No, my worship is Krishna. But I can pay respect to the ones who are working, because also they are devotees. They are working, for they are doing their seva. 13. Pious people habitually take food that is first offered to God, and by doing so, they are relieved of their sins. By the wicked eat only for their enjoyment, and simply by eating they are sinning. Here we have the big secret of prasad. Krishna is saying this in the middle of the battlefield. Why? Because he loved prasad as well. Our Krishna is Jagannath. Yes? Jagannath, another name of Jagannath is Avatari, is the source of all avatars. All avatars came from Avatari Jagannath. And what is the thing that Jagannath likes most of this planet? Food. That's why the Jagannath Puri is the best place for taking prasad. The prasad is the best in the universe. My Jagannath eat the best prasad. They say that Vishnu came to earth only to take food. And in which form he came? The form of Jagannath. Krishna descend in the form of Jagannath to take the prasad. And to, of course, to bless all his devotees with his Mahaprasad. So Krishna is saying, first, a sadhaka, a bhakta, bhakti yogi must to offer all the food to him. He enjoy, then you enjoy. Otherwise, you are eating sins. Of course. Yes or no? Ya llegan a 16. Ignoring the cycle of duties as given in the Vedas is living a life of sin and irresponsibility. A life of sensual pleasure is a waste of life. Partha. Ignoring the duty is a life of sin and irresponsibility. 17. Whoever the prescribed duties do not apply to one who is illuminated and fully self-realized. And here is the point. Here is the main point of this in terms of dharma, doing, not doing, what else. The ones who are realized already, they have nothing more to do in this world. Just the circle of life will continue, but they are realized that they are not under the laws of this universe at all. That's why many Paramahamsas have been criticized many times for not working on certain rules and regulations. But rules and regulations, for who are the rules and regulations? Are for the souls who are in the prison. The inmates inside the jail, they have the rules and regulations. The ones who are free from that. Do you understand? The ones who are free from that. And many times those saints are questioned by the people. Oh, how saint is this? He, for example, don't do these rituals, how should be, is not doing the puja, who should be, is eating something that should not be eating. But they are above all of that. No long ago, I post in the channel one lines about Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, whom I have a very high esteem. Even it's not Gaudiya Vaishnava as our tradition, but his bhakti is something that I want to see if anybody has that level. Nobody. Honestly, I don't know guru who has this level in no any place. What to speak about devotees, like normal sadhakas. His level was beyond anything that we have seen. Only on that level of bhakti, devotion, and ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy, we can recall to Sri Radheshyam Charandas Deva. We can speak about Vijay Krishna Goswami, who was a friend of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So somebody was posting something very nasty, like, yeah, but he eat fish and something like that in some part of his life, and so he's not pure. Come on, like, really? This is the point of analysis? So short-minded, so blind? If that will be the point, what is the use of the work of Bhaktivinoda Thakur? He ate meat and fish until very late in his life. It doesn't make him a bad sadhaka. It doesn't make him a bad devotee, because in the end he realized the things. Ramakrishna in some part of his life also, he did some things that maybe are not in line with our limited mind. It doesn't rest his great soul. You understand? In terms of saints of that level, it's better to not even emit any judgment, because we are not, at least me, maybe you, yes, but not me. I am not in level to say this saint yes, this saint no. If they has the power just by chanting the Harinam, as my Radha Charandas Dev, just by saying the name of Hari, the saying Nitai, he can bring to life dead bodies, dead people in the in the ground, in the fire ground, ready to be burned. He's saying, Jai Nitai, and he brings people back to life. So the soul who also already left the body came running back to the body. My Radha Raman did this. So that level is something that we cannot judge, because we have no intelligence to judge that level. We cannot understand that. Whoever the prescribed duties do not apply to one who is illuminated, enlightened, and fully self-realized. 19. So perform your duties. We're speaking about Karma Yoga chapter 3, verse 19. Perform your duties. Work without attachment to the fruits of your action. Only this can lead you to the realization of God. 22. O Partha, even though I have no duties to perform in any of the three worlds, I still do my duties. I still do my duties. And 27, it is the three modes of material nature that perform all activities, but the ignorant, deluding himself to be the body, thinks that he is the doer. The ignorance make us think that we are the swamis, that we are the ishta, the purushas, that we are the doer, we are the creator of the things. This is only ignorance. Actually, we in the material realm, we are just like a piece of wood floating in the ocean. The ocean moves there, we go there. The ocean goes there, we go there. The only way to get rid of this is just by kripa. There is no sadhana, no yoga that can really make you free of all of this. That is not possible. It's by kripa. But how we get kripa? We can call the attention of Bhagavan, of Thakur, of Krishna. We can call the attention by our sadhana, our prayers, or the power of our mantra. We can connect, and he can give kripa to us. We cannot win the kripa, but we can call the kripa in somehow. You understand? This is Nitai Gaur. Thanks for the clarification. I want to ask another question. You say devatas are expansion of Krishna, but I learned that Brahma and all is always a Jiva Tattva, living entities. All are living entities. See, at the time of the universal dissolution, where everything goes, where the Jivas goes, everything goes back to Swayam Bhagavan. And from Swayam Bhagavan, everything expands. Counting the devatas, counting the jivas, everything expands from Bhagavan. Read the chapter on Krishna Tattva from Sri Brahma Vaivarta Puranam. They're explained in a beautiful poetry how everything is expanded from him. Even the full universe, in the end, merged in his body. And then everything expands from his own body. Everything, counting Brahma, and all the devatas and all the devis are coming from him. So the ones who create everything are coming, everything is coming from him. He is the original of everything, so we are always a manifestation of him. That's why we are Satchit, Anand. And we get the Vigraha by Guru Kripa and Radha Kripa, we get a spiritual body, a spiritual form, with the one we can serve in the spiritual realm. But everything is coming from Krishna. There is nothing separate from Krishna. There is only one. Krishna, only Krishna is the origin and source of everything. I don't have a separate creation by myself. That is not Krishna. Everything is Krishna. Everything is Krishna. In other words, this also can be called what our Vijay Krishna Goswami speak about Brahmagyan, to realize your inner identity. Many times the growth books, philosophy, will try to explain the things in different ways in order to make the people to understand some concepts. But it doesn't mean that this is the 100% truth. It's partial truth for the material mind to understand things, but the material understanding is still limited. So just let's get on the real tattva. Everything emanates from Krishna. There is nothing out of Krishna, all right? All the sadhakas, all the servants, dasis and dasas on the spiritual realm of Krishna are expansion of him. He expands Srimati Radharani, Radharani expands all the gopis. He expands himself as Balaram, and Krishna and Balaram expand the gopas. This is like this.
Manjari, this is also a small expansion of Radharani?
And yes, and the Manjaris are the expansions of Srimati Radharani. This is the esoteric part, is the inner part, the higher upper, the higher tattva. Everything is expanded from her. All the gopis are expansion of Srimati Radharani. All the gopis. All the devis are expansion of Srimati Radharani. Yeah. All Dwarka is expansion of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. The 16,808 queens that Krishna married are expansion of Radhika. That's why Krishna say clearly, I can never look another woman that is not my Radhika, because everybody is expansion of her. In the Manjari Tattva, we understand Manjari is an expansion of Radharani. Everything that Radharani eats, see, and enjoy, everything is filled in the heart of the Manjaris, all the Manjaris. How many Manjaris are? Infinite. Everything Radharani is feeling the Manjari. I am speaking about Bhagavad Gita, but we end up in Manjari Bhava anyways. Jai Manjari Bhava ki jai, Gopi Bhava ki jai. 20, chapter 3, Karma Yoga, 31. Practicing my teachings faithfully and without envy will bring freedom from karmic bondage. 32. And those who do not follow my teachings out of ignorance and envy will live in bondage and misery for life. 34. In the senses which affect desires and aversions, do not let them be in control, as they are enemies that block the path of self-realization. 36. Arjuna said, what is that makes one act sinfully and improperly against his will, and if by an overpowering force? What makes us be as sinners? I know that you are listening to me, you are not a sinner, but I am a sinner. I am a terrible sinner. I am a very bad person. But what makes to the sinners to do sins? Like driving by a very powerful force that is not possible to escape. 37. Sri Bhagavan said, it is lust, and lust alone, which is the biggest enemy of the whole world. A product of the mode of passion, it eventually transforms into anger. So it's lust. And what is lust? The desire to enjoy far from Krishna. All right. Here I want to speak a little bit more in depth. Anyways, these verses are so profound that 10 minutes to explain is not enough. We need a full lecture of each verse to explain everything in depth. Even one full lecture is not enough. Bhagavad Gita is a text that we can study all life and thousands of lives, 700 lives, one life per shloka, and it's not enough because it's spiritual. It's the word of Krishna, is eternal. Every day we open Bhagavad Gita, we see more deepness, and more deepness. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So it is lust. What is the problem? Lust. Now, without lust, we cannot live. But the point is not repression of lust, is to focus our lust. Our desires must to be reestablished, must to be focused to the right point. Sadly, our desires in the material world are looking to the wrong direction. This is all the problem. The same that for many sadhakas have been the transition from eating everything omnivorous like a pig to a vegetarian. In the first stage, before being vegetarian, we consider, or people consider as food, certain things that now we think is abominable. It's not possible to eat that kind of things as animals and rotten things, right? But what was the trick? Some fanatic will say, you have to stop eating, because if you eat, you will eat animals, and this is a sin. Stop eating. Can you imagine? This is ridiculous. This is repression. Repression has no sense. Repression will never help. And I know by my own experience, because I have been doing my sadhana properly since teenager. I have been doing all these repression things from the sects and cults, and it doesn't work. My brahmachari friends all end up with a woman. My ex-sannyas guru from Gaudiya Math end up touching her own disciples, female disciples. It's all fake. Repression doesn't work. What works is alchemy, transmutation. This is the real brahmacharya. You can be a brahmachari by being a grihastra. Don't tell anyone. Silence. But a secret for you. You can be a brahmachari being grihastra. Because the real practice of brahmacharya, you know what is it? It's not to avoid women. It's not to hate women, as we can see in the fanatic cultism brahmacharya nowadays. Brahmacharya means the control of your sexual energy and mainly your semen energy. This liquid, sacred liquid, is what you must to control. And this you don't control simply by avoiding looking at a woman. No, it's not how it works. Because brahmacharya is coming from the tantric sadhanas, or ancient sadhanas of energy transmutation. So all this sexual energy that is concentrated physically as your semen in the men, the idea of the brahmacharya is that you contain this energy and you move this energy forward. So instead of your energy, sexual energy going down from your sexual genitals, going down and out, down, out, must to be inside and upward. This is the real practice of brahmacharya. So if you don't know pranayama, if your guru has no chance on learning and teachings on pranayama, and if he cannot help you to transmutate your sexual energy, forget. I will give you $1,000 in this moment that if you don't know the techniques of transmutation, after 1, 2, or 3 years, you will quit, or you will start cheating. Because this is the reality. Or you will start cheating. Cheating means you will contain yourself after nightfall is coming. 1 per month, 2 times per month. All brahmacharis that I know who has no knowledge about the real brahmacharya, the spiritual sadhana and practice of brahmacharya, are suffering nightfalls. If you don't believe me, go to Google and read nightfalls. Nightfall, you will read that and you will realize that many of the questions people is doing incognito on forums are speaking about nightfall and brahmacharya. Why? Because they are just repressing themselves, their sexual energy, but they don't know how to transmutate the energy. This is something I cannot speak openly, but I can teach about this on a more private kind of environment. I can help with this in case that you are in that position and you feel that something is not enough in your knowledge and wisdom and your sadhana and your practice. I can help you up with this. And I tell you, you can be 43, 45 years old and look like 25. Your brain can create so much out of that power because Brahmacharya is the technique of Brahma Dev. But remember that Brahma Dev is not alone. There is Mahasarasvati and Brahma Dev. Right? But what is the technique? This is the point. How you do this? This is the point. Huh? And here, just to clarify, I'm not talking about Kama Sutra. No, nothing about that. No. I'm speaking about spiritual practice, real spiritual practice. And so these are things that you must learn in order to work with your inner energy. Your inner power is there. Yeah. So the desire, this is the point, and I want to close this session of Bhagavad Gita with this part. The desire is the main problem, and Krishna is saying lust. The desire, the ground desires. As people was eating meat and then turned to vegetarian, what they did, no repression of eating. It's not that you stop eating. The transmutation is the desire of eating the right things. It's the way that you are eating. That is what will create the all transformation, the alchemia, as the European esoterists say. The alchemia on you will be out of changing your consciousness, your vision. Now I will not eat animals' blood and disgusting thing. I will start eating prasad. It's much more nicer, tastes better, looks better, smells better, feels better in the heart and in the tongue. And the great news is that Krishna, God, is happy with that. So this is the exactly transmutation that we did in one part of the story in our lives. Many of you, mainly Westerns, have been crossing this. So this is exactly what we have to do. The problem is not the desire. The desire are correct, but the problem is the wrong desire or desiring the thing that we should not be desired. Because those desires in ignorance are bringing only pain and suffering to you and to the full environment. Everybody around suffer out of the stupid decisions that people do. But when you decide the right thing, this is correct, this is good. So the main call here is to focus. What are my desires? How I can transmutate my desire into something superior. From stones to gold. This is what my desire must do. Why desires are good? Yes, because Krishna is the creator of the desires. He is Kamadev. His special mantra has the name Kama, Kamadev. Kamadev is Cupid, but also is the name of Krishna. And Krishna, in the highest rasic spiritual literature, is called Kamadev, the Lord of the desire. And in Nitya Lila Vrindavan, in Braj, in Golok, everybody has desires, but had the right desire, had the desire to please Krishna, had the desire to please Radharani, had the desire to please the divine couple, has the desire to please their Manjari gurus, their friends, to please them with love, with present, with fragrance, with message, with music, with dance, is to please each other. Everybody has desire, but the right desire. So desires are not wrong. Wrong desire are the bad thing. But good desires are good, because our desire is what will make us walk to Krishna, to Golok Vrindavan. We will walk out of desires. If you kill the desire, you will be like a stone, not going nowhere. This is not possible. You have to work and meditate on the right desires, and with the right desires, you will achieve perfection. We will keep reading Bhagavad Gita in another occasion. I wish you a happy Ekadashi, and remember to break the Ekadashi in the proper time and check your time zone. In the next Ekadashi is about 5 hours for Param, from 5:30 to 10:30 something. 62? 6 to 10 in Vrindavan. About 4 hours to break Ekadashi. Ekadashi is not that you break any time tomorrow after 5 or after 6. No, there is a time to start the Paran and end the Paran. So you must do the breaking the Ekadashi in this period of time. Otherwise, the Ekadashi will not have any effect. How to celebrate Ekadashi? Do japa. You can sleep later today by doing japa, doing a little bit of tapa. It's always good. If I can help you in something, you know how to reach me out. Go to my email, go to my site, contact, and I will be happy to reach you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Sri Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Nitai, Jai Gaur, Jai Jai Sri Radheshyam.